Swayam Prabha. Digital India. Educated India.
Hello everyone, welcome to the NPTEL course on Remote Sensing and GIS for Rural Development. This is week 9, lecture 2. In this week, we have been looking at the different classification types of LULC, how to classify and bring data together for effective mapping. In today's lecture, we'll be using the skills that we have looked upon in the past lectures. Especially, we will download the data and do a quick LULC classification. A very basic classification will be done in a semi-supervised fashion where data clustering will happen and some clusters will be labeled by us. So let's go ahead with today's lecture. First, let me introduce the supervised classification stage. In the supervised classification, you will need to provide a training stage in which collect representative spectra from each user class from the image will be done. So for example, in the image in the bottom, you could see I have taken some spectral signatures for water, and the system or the GIS platform will use all the water signatures that I determine as water for clustering. So that is the training stage where I have to collect data and provide it a class name. In the second stage, we see that you have a classification stage. So I have created the spectral signatures. I have created a signature file, and the signature file will be now input to the system, and the GIS software runs and classifies. So that is the run algorithm part to assign each pixel to a user class. And the last, of course, is output stage where the outputs are filtered and a map with statistics is derived. So at the bottom, there is an example given of the 3 stages. In the first stage, you have the training data all taken together. So this is the data from your remote sensing platforms, NASA, ISRO, Bhuvan. You download it. Once you download it, you have each pixel has a number, unique identification number, right? And in the second case, you have a class that you have determined: water, sand, forest, urban, corn, hay. So each unique identification number. So for example, this pixel is 37, right? So third row and 7th column is the unique identification code for that pixel. And that pixel takes one of these classes based on the classification I give. So the first stage, you take the training stage, you give classes, you take spectral signatures for each class, and then you run the algorithm and the output comes. So in the output, you have categorized set. Digital numbers are replaced by the category types. So you don't see any 3, 7, but that will become F for forest and along the land use classification pattern. So this is what we'll be doing in an exercise in today's lecture. So for the supervised classification, as I said, all the classes have to be given And in the supervised classification, if you don't have all the labels, all the classes, it is a semi-supervised. In today's example, within the supervised, there is a part of classes which we won't be labeling, and those are called unclassified. So let's look at these colors. So the first step is to download the data. We have already shown that multiple data sets are available. However, the current data set will give you a better LULC because the latest ones we have from the open source systems are 2015, 2016. So let's start processing a data for a current data set for Maharashtra region. So you have a data download link I've given, the Earth Explorer. I hope all of you have created an account. It's free. You can download data. Pre-processing of raster image is done once the data is collected. In the pre-processing stage, you will be only using the part of data that you want. You don't need the entire tile. It is too cumbersome, too much memory storage, so you can bring it down. The cache memory will take long time if you have large data sets. And then you prepare a training data set with classes and the class names, the labels you'll be giving, and then you run the classification. So these are the steps: download data, pre-process the data, create a label of classes and the signature file, and then you do a classification. Before that, as I said, there are certain aspects that are needed for QGIS classification. Plugins are very good, and one of the plugins is supervised classification plugin. So let's take it out from the list of supervised classification plugins available. The ones we will be using is the plugin coordinate capture. We will use the first plugin. So what it does is it helps us to create a training data set. So it basically, you can move the mouse to a particular location and click a pixel, and the lat long, the coordinate of that pixel will come out. This you would have seen already in Google Earth, where Google Earth Pro, where we move the mouse and then the lat long was changing on the bottom. So here in QGIS, we are going to have it typed already and taken out. Instead of you typing it, you click it, it comes out as a clipboard, it copies for yourself, and then you can use it in different coordinate reference systems. Then we will use a semi-automatic classification plugin. As I said, semi-automatic is it's not fully automatic. It's not unsupervised, where you let it classify by itself. You give it some weightages, some labels, and then the classification starts. So there is a pre-processing stage in it, a classification stage, and post-processing stage. The coordinate capture plugin is just for you to help you to extract the lat longs for creating the training set, which is part of the pre-processing stage. So let's go ahead. The first one is the coordinate capture. If those who do not have it already, please go to the plugins. All plugins will come 998. I've showed you how to access the plugins on the QGIS top toolbar. Go to the toolbar and then type coordinate capture. You will find it, just install it as a plugin. Some of the steps I'm going to fast forward because in a 30-minute, I want to capture most of the classification part. The second plugin is the semi-automatic classification plugin. Please look at the icon. This is what icon will come when you type semi, and then the third one, semi-automatic, will pop up. Just click it, install the plugin, and I've installed it. I've kept it ready for the class so that if any error comes, we won't waste time while recording. So the final results will come once we show it. I have made a slide, but before that, let us start the data download process. So what we will do is we will start with the USGS Explorer, and then we will look into the data download part. So here you would see that there is a Earth Explorer that we are going to use. We will start with the supervised classification data. So as I said, let's go to USGS Explorer, and then we will create these points of interest, and then I'll show you how to download the data. So what we will do is select a study area, random study area, and then I'm just pulling the points and moving so that we can select a study area part. And then when you click the data sets in the bottom, you will see that there are multiple data sets that are available, but we will take the Landsat data. In the Landsat, we have multiple Landsat classifications and collections. We will use the recent ones, 8, 9, because we want the 2022. So we'll click it, and for that particular coordinate systems that we have given, it is searching for data, and all the data for that particular location area of interest is coming. So now we're going to download the data, and then all the download we want. So product options are there, what type of products, how you want to download it. We want all the downloads, so all the bundle will be downloaded. Just you can select or one or two of the bands. Right now we haven't discussed the bands, so let's download it. So now I've downloaded and kept it ready for QGIS. Now I've opened my QGIS so that you could look into it and see where the plugin has happened. So you could see that SCP plugin has come up, which is the semi-automatic plugin. And then in the browser where all the tiles are there, I am going to open my browser and downloaded data. All the Landsat files are come. So LC08 2022 Landsat 8 have been downloaded for that particular area of interest. We are dragging it to the layer panel so that the map has been created. So, but we need to understand what are the bands. So in the QGIS, you saw band 1 to band 7. So to go back, we can go back to the Earth Explorer and see in the Earth Explorer profile what is each band. So for example, band number 5 is near infrared, band number 4 is red, and then we have band 3 is green, etc. So these are the wavelengths that are given and the resolutions that are given at the end. So within the bracket, it is the wavelength range. So we have Landsat 8, which is what we wanted, the recent land use land cover map we want to do. So now we are ready. Each image is on top of one another. So you will see that you have a data set and each data set is on top of each other. So it is like a composite we're going to see. So right now we just see one on top of the other. So it is covering each layer. So now let's define each of the 7 bands as a band set. We can select it from your layers or the tools, SCP tool. Let's go to the SCP tool on the top. Because you have installed it, it will come. Now we're going to create one band which is a composite. So since I have the previous bands are going to come here. So when we refresh the band on the refresh tool on the side, what will happen is all the bands are coming and populating. All the bands that are available on my QGIS are now populated. The previous existings, let's remove it. So I'm just going to click the remove button and remove it. So because we work on this a lot, I have a lot of other bands reminiscent. So now all the bands are being pulled in and called as band set 1. Because I have imported them into the band by putting the arrow marks and import it into it addition. So now we can also move it up and down if the band needs to be moved up and down. We go back. Now this minimizes, go back to your QGIS layer. So only one location we need to do. So what we have to do is before we make a band, I'm going to come back to the band stuff again, but we don't, as I said, we don't need the entire tile. We're just going to do a part of the land, because too much it will become slower and you're not going to do the entire band for now. So let's do a clip. The mask tool has already been discussed in this class. Let's zoom in and select an area. I can extract using a shapefile, or I can give an area of interest. So this is the built up area where we would like to look at it and extract. What we need to do is go back to SCP. In a normal scenario, you will use the raster processing tools and then you do a mask. But since SCP has a tool that can take all the rasters together, I'm going to go into that. So go to SCP tool again, and then click clip multiple rasters. Clip, you're going to cut. As I said, the first option is you can give a shapefile, and then load the shapefile and clip it. But we don't have it, so we're going to do a define an area. So we're going to define a plus sign, and then you go to draw a box. A small box you can draw, which is the area of interest. So now I selected the area. Now when we run this clip tool, it will only take the data. So going back to the SCP tool. In the clip multiple rasters, we have selected the extent. Which bands do you want to take off? Right now, band 1 we have prepared. So the band set is basically creating all of them together. So we had initially 7 bands. We have clubbed it into one band as a band set. So band 1 is band set of 7 bands. And that is what I'm giving here. And I'm going to click OK and run the tool. So instead of doing each one separately, where you want to save, it's asking. So I'm going to save it in a selected folder. So all the bands are going to be clipped. Just wait for a couple of seconds. It's clipping on the left hand side. You'll see the processing going on. Once it finishes, you can see that on the screen you have another image overlapping, and that is the clipped image. So now we can remove all the original bands, which are the whole of Maharashtra tiles. We can remove them. So now we have a clipped bands. So 7 bands have been clipped using one shape that we determined. Now for doing classification, now we need to again do the banding. Okay, so now we'll go back to the SCP tool. So stacking is basically you're bringing all the bands together. Go back to band set, and the previous bands would come. So just refresh it, and the new clip bands are coming. The same on the bottom, you see the older bands, we can remove them. So click the negative button on the bottom. It will go off. So once you have select all, you can select one by one or select all, and then add the plus sign, all the data bands will come in. So now all of them, again, we can create it as band set 1. So the previous band is gone. The band set 1 is gone. We have created a new band. Make sure you select the bottom 2 options and then run. Now we have 6 bands. We have run it, and then we have tackled it. We'll put it in a folder called sample. So now the band has been created. You can see that all of them are stacked together as a band set. So I'm going to remove all the clips soon, but you can see that the band set has been there. I'm opening it, and also we can open the RGB to change the coloring. So raster can be symbolized or colored using different coloring schemes. What we are going to do here is we are going to RGB and 543. Let's give a scheme. which bands we are going to take. So 5 is near infrared, 3 is green, 4 is red. So when we say 5, 4, 3, those bands are going to be colored higher. So you could see that the infrared is captured by or represents more the vegetated area. So all the vegetated area will show up very well if we use 5, 4, 3. Let's try to use another coloring scheme, 6, 5, 4. You could see that 6, 5, 4 is better for the water body. So you can try play with all these RGBs on the top, which is part of the classification tool, the SCP tool. Which ones you want to check for visualization, you can select. See, right now we are going to visualize it better so that we are going to extract training sets. Let's do the 5, 4, 3 again. Because the vegetation area, the infrared is captured well. So all the red areas here are vegetation. So now the combination is ready. Let's go into the creating the classes and training sample set. We are not going to do 10, 15 classifications like the Bhuvan. As I said, that takes a long time. Just for the small class, we are going to create only 4 to 5 classes. So look at this image. You have vegetation, you have water bodies, you have built up area, you have other areas that of interest. So let's go through these areas. But again, if you don't know about this area, how are you going to do it? And that is where some tools that I have initially recommended as plugins will be helpful. So first, let's visualize this image and then make sure that we differentiate the coloring scheme here. What is represented as blue, what is represented as red, etc. So now, if you can zoom it to the full area and keep on zooming, you will see the image getting pixelated. Pixelated means it's no longer smooth. Every pixel you can see. Now you can place your coordinate capture tool, which is on the left hand bottom. You can see here on the bottom of the video, there is a tool which says the coordinate capture thing. So please enable the start capture and then go ahead and see which ones you want to capture. First, when you click it, you will see that the coordinate is being captured in the coordinate box. As I said, you can also look at it as a start capture, go back, and then I'm clicking a point on the vortex. Copy the coordinate system on it and go to Google Earth. So now we're going to juggle between the image and the Google Earth Pro. Make sure that when you copy it on Google Earth Pro, the orientation of the lat long is different. So in the coordinate system A, B, in Google Earth, you have to do B, A. That's it. So just change it. So copy paste it, take the first part out and then put it at the back, cut it and put it at the back, and then click search. You can see that it zooms into that particular area. So here, now you have a visual proof, which is going to clarify what is that location. So in this image, you can see that that location is showing a vegetated area, an agricultural field. So this is what we call as supervised classification, where you go to the field, collect data, and then come back and then classify the image. Sometimes there's no time, there is no money to go up and down in the field. So these kind of satellite images can be used for classifying satellite images. So again, as I said, now we can see it is a agriculture field. So now go back to QGIS. Now we will go back to QGIS and then attest that this particular pixel, that is a vegetated area. So now we know how to take each pixel, go back and forth, and then check it in Google Earth. So that is for us to confirm. So now we're going to go to the SCP tool and create a training set. So in the left-hand side, and if the SCP tool comes out as the left-hand panel, sometimes it will float on the QGIS screen. You can also dock it on the left, that as I've done. You can see a button, the second button called create a new training input. Click that, and then we're going to extract points or shapes that are going to give you where you want to give classes. And also you will have to store this classification, because the QGIS will go and access this sample naming scheme and then apply it to all the data sets. So you can see that, let's say sample 2. So now we've defined a training set. Now let's now go to zoom into the map. So zoom to the data. Let's start with the water. Each feature may be questionable because the coloring may be different, as we have changed the 543, 643, etc. If we change the RGB combination, the band combination, you will have different colors. So just to make sure, you can click on the coordinate system. I'll do it again. I'm just going to click on the coordinate. So you can see the coordinate on the left. I copy it, paste it in Google Earth Pro, put it upside down, switch the coordinates, and then when I click OK and search after I input, the Google Earth Pro will go to the location of the coordinate system. Now you could see that it is a water body. I've also taught you that just make sure that it's not a flood. If it is a flood, then you can go back and forth and see if the water is always there. Okay, so the water is always there. It's not a flood. It is a water body. Also make sure that the same year is chosen. So here 2022 I've selected on the Google Earth Pro because my image is 2022 in QGIS. So this is a water body. I go back to the QGIS. The shape is almost the same. Now I know that if I extract the pixels from here, it is a good training data for water body. So I'm going to create a first training set and the first class. So the first top is MC name is water W. That is the main classification name. There is a sub classification name or a subclass name as SC name. We don't need that because in this example, we're just going to do major classification. So MC is given as W and then C is given as W1. Now let's take samples, which is pixels that are representing water. So there's dark blue, light blue, all represent water. So I'm going to create a polygon. So carefully select, not too much on the boundary. The boundary is a gray line because some land image is also coming, the water image is also coming in the pixel, right? So don't take that, just take within the water body and then click OK. Say water, I've clicked it and then it is added. Once you save this button, then it gets added. Make sure that as much as samples you select, the accuracy of the image is going to go higher. So one water body is a lake. So let's look at a river also. So just to make sure this is a river or a road, you can go back, take the coordinate, go back and then come to the initial image. So I'm going back and then see that along the lake, it is a river. So if you could see that I can take the coordinate system, it is moving, we can take coordinate system, but I'm confident, so I'm taking this as a sample. So I'm taking a sample, I'm clicking it, and now it goes in. So similarly, let's take one more sample along the same river. I'm selecting another one and then hit the enter for the third sample. So slowly it gets loaded up. Toolbar is showing the loading. So just for water, we have 3 already. Now we're going to, let's do the agricultural area. Agriculture is different. So because there will be growing crops, mature crops, initial crops. So I'm just going to go to one area and then we will look into the pixels. I know that along the river bodies, it is agriculture. So first let me create the class name. So it is agriculture. I have clicked, and then we have A1, so which is the agriculture one. And then zooming in, I'm zooming into the red areas because the infrared is going to show the agriculture. Any questions, any doubts on this land, you can always use the coordinate system, coordinate capture. Go to Google Earth Pro, check the land and come back. So if you miss typing, just click the left click the buttons. Your new area can be drawn. So now you're drawing the new area, and then the class IDs are given. I add it. So now it's slowly going to go into the semi SCP tool, and then you'll see on the bottom it is going to show as agriculture. So agriculture is created. A1 is created. Similarly, we're going to create some more A1s. A1 is a subclassification, as I said. If you're doing it very, very carefully, you can actually do a growing A1, mature A2, like that. So right now, we're just going to take some more samples in the agricultural area. Click, add it in. So a lot of different red colors you can see, mature red, and then light red. All of them are related to agriculture. So let's take as much samples as we can. So here we are taking another red color, a parcel of red colors. One I've taken around the water, but you could see that not on the boundary. I'm taking a bit of some pixels away from the boundary, because maybe on the boundary there was a water, the plants are not growing well, too much suffocation. So let's take some outside. So we have diverse regions, we have taken samples, and then we're adding all the red colors. I've checked the image, so I know that the image is all agriculture, but you have to go back and forth between Google Earth Pro and then select. So now we have selected around 4-5 data for the crops. Now let's finish the agricultural area, and let's go to the next class soon. So I'll just finish off some more, and then let's go to the agriculture area. We have selected samples. Now let's go to the built up area. As I said, in the Google Earth Pro, you can see that there is around the lake area, there is a lot of built up area, and that built up area is coming here. So the coordinate system capture we have used. So all the blue, light blues are built up area. So let's type a new class 3, ID 3, and then 3 you have put, and then let's type urban, and then we'll type it as U1, and then it is class is 3, and then go and do the add. So zoom in as much as possible, and then check all the colors. You look at it, I'm selecting mostly the blue colors which are representing. The black could be roads or non-built up areas, so let's not take that, or barren land. So let's take some more samples for urban area, urban built up area. Make sure you have enough samples. So slowly I'm taking different shades of blue. In my image, blue represents the classification of built up area. So we have 3 urban now. Let's take some more, 4. I'm adding it. It's down. You can see that you can also cancel in between if it is not correct. So we have 3 classes now. You can spend as much time and add more colors, more signature files. It will become more accurate. Okay, so we have enough for 3, and then open spaces also I've selected. Open areas are areas without any agriculture, water, or built up area. So we're going to have open areas also. Now you could see that the water, agriculture, and urban have different colors, which are automatic colors. But we know that we want to see something logical, which means blue for water is logical, brown or red for urban built up is logical, agriculture is green. So let's change the colors. So click agriculture, the color scheme will come. put OK for green, just take green, just put your mouse on a green color. Same urban, let's take orange color or red color as I always use, then we'll use it. Open space, we can keep yellow and then we'll say OK. So we're given a color scheme. So what we have done so far is we have taken spectral signatures, not only one sample, we have taken multiple sample for each class. First, we define class. We say, okay, for the time being, we're going to only have water, agriculture, urban, and open space, 4 classes. And then one more, it will add, the system will add by itself, which is unclassified. So some colors which are not given will be unclassified. So now you're going to have 5 classes, of which 4 we define. Each class we gave some examples by taking pixels and then mapping it to the system. Now we are going to give colors to the classes. So all of them will become blue and we are ready to run it. So now go back to SCP, come back down to the, down it's minimized. So just go to the SCP tool and then go to classification tool. Here it will ask which band you want to classify. Band 1, because we already made a band set as 1, so keep 1. So only the main classes we have. So just say MC, you can click. You don't have a C. We didn't give the sub classification SC values. We didn't give. So let's click the MC values. And then classification report is good for error analysis. So you can just click. Maximum likelihood is one of the best performance. So just click the maximum likelihood algorithms. There are multiple algorithms available, but select the maximum likelihood because it has been used widely across in literature. So now you click run. It will run and ask you where you want to save the file as a TIFF file, or you can also change the file type if you want. Let's say LULC 2022, and now it's running. It's for some systems it will take more time. I'll cut because of the time I'm going to fast forward that part. And now yes, the system has run it. The classification is complete. Here you could see that only less number of classes are given because not all are water, agriculture, urban. So you'll see some classes, but more importantly, you could see that the pixels have been extracted based on your preference of what is water, and all those have been clustered. So that is clustering, the second objective of classification, and the cluster is given a name and a color, which is water and blue. So for agriculture it's green and then for urban it is red, and then yellow for open space. But you can see that it is not as accurate as the Google Earth Pro. But let's look at the classification report. It will be generated in your report folder where you had stored it. So now we have completed it. Just for the class, I have done a very, very small amount of classifications and sizes, and quickly we have done it within 20 minutes. But if you are very patient and click accurately the pixels, which I've done already, I'll share you the report and the image now. So this is how the image looks like. If you take a very, very slow approach, click each pixel and then make sure that you have enough classes. Here you can see that you have enough classes: unclassified, black, water, agriculture, open space, and urban. You can see it matches with the Google Earth Pro that we have taken. So beautifully, these two images are matching because we have spent more time on each different colors of pixel. In the previous image, I'll go back and show just for sake of it. You can see that all this was taken as red. And we know that urban area is not that big because we did not take green color from those areas. And the brown, little bit brown, was enough for the system to say it was all urban. So what we have done is we have now gone back and forth and did a very, very accurate classification, which is here. And then that has given better results. Even the report vouches the same. You can see that the report says that the classification report says the water is this much area, agriculture, open space, urban area and the total area is 42 square kilometers, 42.9. You can estimate the boundary that you drew initially while downloading the data. It will be the same. So percentage of total area is also coming to 100%. So in the error class, if you do not have a particular class and the pixel is not represented, then the total 100% will not come. It will be like 80%, which means 20% of the land you are not mapping. So with this, yes, today's lecture went a little bit over time because we did a hands-on on land use land classification. I'll see you in the next class. Thank you.